Howdy folks, welcome back to 50 Nautical Mile Arc. This is the second leg in our series where we're traveling all 50 states in alphabetical order. Again, with other flights inserted in between, so we're not going to have 50 states all in a row. But we are on our second state, so this is the second leg, and we are in Alaska. And I'm just looking around at the mountains and this road that stops right at the airfield. And there are cars driving on it. Looks kind of like a bike path bridge, but it's a highway apparently. Again, it's the whole exclusion zone thing when this was built. Whoever designed this airport, being it's a 2D airport, was probably a long time ago. And they didn't have exclusion zones back then. So now the AutoGen is updated, OSM data is updated, and we have roads at airports. But that's okay. Nice water there too. Very nice. So in case you're wondering, from the last video I was talking about my laptop, my gaming laptop overheating and causing frame rate issues. So first of all, I have suspended my laptop so there's airflow all around, and that has reduced the cooling so much that the case barely gets warm, whereas before I would burn if I would touch it. So that's an exciting improvement. I've also made a lot of concessions, and I've turned down a lot of graphic settings in the sim. And when there aren't clouds like this, my frame rates are amazing and usable, and things still look okay. However, if we have any bit of clouds, my GPU still overheats and we get like 12 frames per second. So as long as clouds don't turn on, we'll be fine. And this is real world weather. It's just happened to be clear sky, so we're gonna have great frame rates. And now I know clouds screw up everybody's frame rates. However, historically, it hasn't been that bad for me. But now that I have this overheating GPU for some reason, and that extra work is just killing my frame rates. But just want to give an update on that because that was a big topic in the last video. So anyway, moving on to new stuff. Like I said, we're in Alaska. This is leg 2 of 50. We're in the Twin Otter, which we seem to be flying a lot lately, but it's great for these short cross-country trips. And this is the short nose version. Notice that nose is very short on this thing. And with the version 2 Twin Otter from RWDesigns, the way you determine long nose or short nose is basically by the livery. Airplane designers now can actually have the aircraft change based on livery and not need separate aircraft files like they used to. For example, the Just Flight Turbo Aero 3 and 4, one aircraft file, the livery determines if it's 3 or 4. This is one aircraft file. The livery determines if it's long nose or short nose. Of course, the float skis and Tundra are separate aircraft files, but the nose variant, one file. So again, long introduction, but that's what's going on. That's what we're flying. So where in Alaska are we, and where are we going? We are in Arctic Village Airport in Alaska, kind of on the eastern edge of Alaska. Now we're going to fly due west, and we're going to go to Anaktuvuk Pass. Anaktuvuk. I put an extra syllable in there, didn't I, the first time? Anaktuvuk Pass. Something like that. And it's due west. And the reason why I chose it, and when I'm looking at SkyVector for an Alaska flight, it says, caution, rapidly rising terrain. And I thought that was pretty amusing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to experience this rapid rising terrain in the Twin Otter. Again, most appropriate for this flight. I was trying to decide between this and the Turbo Aero, because the Turbo Aero can handle mountains and things. But I'm with Twin Otter. One of the most versatile airplanes. That's probably why we fly it the most. Plus, it's a great aircraft. So it's worth it. So anyway, what are we going to do? We already got some stuff started. So let's hop inside of the back, and you'll see everything looks, oh, these frame rates are great. We don't have clouds, and I turned everything down. I made so many concessions. I don't even want to tell you what I did. I actually turned down and off things I promised I never would in the graphics. But hey, for the types of flights we're doing right now, it's fine, and we're going to get these awesome frame rates until the clouds kick in, and then my GPU overheats, and that we'll worry about that when it happens. Okay, what is going on? We're going to hop up front. And this parking brake. How come I can never remember the parking brake is from this thing? Where's that parking brake? There it is, down there. Parking brake is set, especially with the mouse cursor in the way. Fuel and payload. So here we go. Alright, weight and balance for that. Let's start putting some people in. We're going to load them in the front first, because we're not going to tip over. If we do the front first, a lot of people today. And see, airplane tips over even before we put the fuel in. If you want to see what that looks like. Oh, you're not going to because it's on the way. See? So then we can't balance the fuel, because if we go fuel in the front to tip it down, it still won't tip down. See, now we're above. So now we have to take fuel out of the back, which is very strange. There we go. So we have to keep an eye on the fuel, because if the fuel in the back runs out, we have to use this switch right here in the middle to change which tank, because the people, when it's full, tips the airplane over. Not sure why that happens, but that is what happens. This control lock thing is down here. That's next on our list. Battery, we'll just sit down here on the floor and put the battery things to flicker. There we go. DC master on. And hop back outside. No, we're not. We need that book. Can't get to it from here. There's the book. Let's remove the GPU. Actually, let's hop outside because this is fun to watch. Oh boy. I wish I'd stay over there. Let's spin around very quickly. There we go. Remove the GPU, which is there. And close the baggage doors. And then we can hop inside and get rid of this book. I think forever. Alright, some more lighting way up here. The POS position, strobe, anti-collision, and the rest are already on for what we need. Emergency lights, arm, where are you? There you are. Oh yeah, up to go down in this one for some reason. Alright, hop down here. GPS is already on. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. Turn radios, we're not going to use them. This could be a purely GPS flight. But we'll push buttons anyway because it's fun to push buttons. Whoops, we're on first. There we go. Okay, flight plan. Don't really have one. We're going to clear out what's in here. Oh, it's... Nope, see, I got to get... There it is. Nope. How do I go down? Oh, it's not scroll wheel support. That's why. I have to actually click it. Okay. Let's reset my view. There we go. All right. Let's see. We're at PARC. We're going to go down, go direct airport, visual landing. So what is our destination? Papa Alta Kilo Papa. There we go, just like that. And enter, go back up one, and we'll just go direct. Already it says direct. Let's do direct again anyway, whatever. Activate, you betcha. Flight plan. There, boom. 138 nautical miles. Shouldn't be too bad. Let's zoom that a little bit for now. There's our path right there. Okay. Yeah, I know. Set course 256. Okay. All right, good. Simple enough. No radios to tune. And like it says, it's going to be visual landing, so no GPS approach or anything. We're just going to follow GPS when we see the airfield. Try to land, because it's going to be in the mountains. Don't know if we can even circle. We're going to have to figure that out. Barometer. Well, yep, that's what I meant. Let's see, click on the airport. There we go. 2984. So let's hop over here and go 2984. I can't really see that far. Nope, that's 2982. 2983. 4. It's kind of in between. Let's back up one. There we go. 2984. Test the caution lights. Where are they? Every single time. I have to look for these things. Oh yeah, because this one is up to go up. There. Oh, this one. There we go. Lights are on. Back up. And let's put them on bright since it's daylight. Close the baggage doors already did. Passenger door. Let's do that now. There are click spots if you find them. Where are they on this one? There we go. That one. And that one. And that is all secure. The sound is off. That's weird. Okay, and close this one. Is the sound off? Yeah, sounds okay there. Alrighty. Now we are ready to start this thing up. So fuel boosts. Put those up like so. And throttles quarter forward. No, I missed something. Fuel levers forward. Throttles forward a quarter. Both engine igniters. We're not going to have the up and down debate today. We're just going to go for it. Flick left. And shouldn't have to hold it. There we go. Spin it around. Prop RPM already picking up. Excellent. Let's see what it looks like outside. Nothing too unusual there. All right. You know, I'm going to see what my frame rates are. I'm just really curious. So you go here, data output, frame rates. I'm just curious. 46. Why? So here's the deal with frame rates. When you have frame rates like this, 46, that means your settings are too low. So crank up some stuff, enjoy the eye candy. Try to get that to 20 to 30, depending what argument, whatever side you're on. Get them between 20 and 30. If they're too low, turn settings down. If they're too high, like 46, 47, that's way too high. I should crank up some settings and get some eye candy back. But I have this GPU overheating dilemma, where as soon as the clouds kick in, that nice 47 will drop to 11, just because of clouds. And it shouldn't be that bad. I'm running SkyMaxx Pro 4.6. I've done long videos in the past how when you use SkyMaxx Pro, at least for my configuration, frame rates are barely affected. And I have video to go ahead, just whatever. But for some reason right now, I lose like 75% of my frames or something. So that's pretty ridiculous. So we're just going to turn those off and stop talking about it. I hate being a frame rate chaser, but after our last video trying to land a plane at 11 frames per second, you gotta chase frame rates a little bit. You can't ignore them completely in a flight simulator. So let's just start with the other engine and move on about our afternoon. There we go. Hop down here. And things are spinning around nicely. Good enough for me. Let's move on. We're wasting too much time. Let's actually bring throttles back. There we go. Both engine igniters can turn off now. Like so. If they stay running. Yes. Yes, they did. Okay. Let's see. Generators reset. Let's see if we can get that generator light to go off this time. Because the last video we did with this aircraft, those generator lights were on the entire video, the entire flight. And I was doing everything right. Let's see. Okay, now they went off. Pneumatic low pressure. I've never seen that before. Huh, maybe because I'm not done starting up. Air bleed. I wonder if that's what this is. Air bleed. Is that the pneumatic pressure? Yep, okay. Temperature and climate control. It's a cool afternoon or morning, whatever I set the time for. I can't remember. Turn that on auto. And we'll hold there. Okay, good. De-icer. Sure, we'll play with the de-icer just because we can. Just like that. Click them all because we can. All right, there we go. Alrighty, Pytot heat. Yes. Make sure all warnings and cautions are out. We kind of already did that. Taxi lights on. And ready to taxi. So, move my mouse here. There we go. If I go too low, my auto updater thing comes on. That's so weird. Okay, stop it. Stop. I'm trying to hide my mouse. There we go. Okay. So ready to taxi. So, wind is from 350 degrees, which means it doesn't matter which runway we use, we're in big trouble. So we're just going to go to the left because it's closer, I think. Yeah, we'll go to the left. Take off to the northwest, or northeast, sorry. Try to avoid these mountains, and then make kind of a U-turn at that point. Get in the air, then we'll set our vertical descent. So let's set flaps to 10 right now. There we go. Hop outside to our taxi view, close up. And props to taxi. Sound should change a little bit, and they should look a little different than they do. Alright, here we go. Parking brake is off. Are we going to move? Or does it think we're on dirt? Park, there we go. I mean, it is a gravel taxiway, so it does take a little bit more to get going, to get over that friction. Alright, it's 11:51 in the sim. Not bad. I wanted to be in the air by noon, and I started the sim at 11:33. So very nice. Just looking around and having a final view of the area while I'm trying to taxi. And looks awesome. I believe this is version 4 mesh. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's stay on the runway here. You have a gravel runway, that's going to be fun. Alrighty, let's just turn around here because I really don't think we need that much runway. Not in this thing. There we go. Come on. Hard to get going once you stop on gravel. Alrighty, here we go. Stop there, set the parking brake. Alright, what do we need to do before we take off? Test reversers. Oh yeah, remember the last video we had of this thing? How many reversers in the snow runway? We did a wheelie, right? So props forward, throttle's at idle, test reversers, and they're gonna work. At least they're working right now. There we go. So if you remember before, we did a wheelie the first time we did reversers, and then we actually slowed down the second time. So anyway, landing lights on, taxi lights off, flaps are down, lights have to come off in the general entrance. Alright, let's start our clock. There we go. And what is next? Props forward already are, because I tested my reversers. Takeoff speed 65 knots. Climb with IS. And that's it until we're ready to descend. So here we go. Props forward already. Throttle's forward. Parking brake is off. Looking for 65 to 70 knots. Which we should be able to get in no time here. Bouncing along. A lot of right rudder. Almost full right rudder. To get this thing to go mostly straight. Alright, there's 65. We'll be a little generous. There's 70, 80. Come on, come back. When are you going to lift up? There we go. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, interesting. There's the wind blowing us just like it should be. Very nice. Let's have a quick look outside before we make our turn. Alright, here we go. Let's immediately bank to the left. Those flaps can come in already. And let's step on those brakes to stop the wheels. Very nice. And let's set our cruising altitude. What do we want to set that to? Let's do 12,000. I think the train is only 9,000 if I remember. So anyway, there we go. Let's do IS hold now. Let's do, why does it straighten me out? Let's do nav left, please. That was strange. Alt alert. That's it for autopilot. IS hold is going to slow down and it'll come back up. It'll speed back up. And IS hold is where you hit it. Oh dear. That's not going to work. Okay. Let's do some heading bug quickly. Quickly before we run into the mountain. Kind of just move the wheel around. There we go. Let's switch that to heading. And let's use heading bug to get around the mountain. Oh, no. Come on. It's backwards. There we go. And then we'll follow our GPS. That was hilarious. Even more. Even more. Even more. There we go. So anyway, IS hold is whenever you push it. And I do about 95 knots. And now it's back to 90, 95, 80, yeah, 95 knots. There we go. Heading bug now to get around the mountain. And then we'll do GPS. But we can't yet. And then you need to use Alt Alert if you want to hold your altitude. If you hit Alt right here on the autopilot, it's going to do your instant altitude wherever you are. So you got to be careful about that stuff. Each autopilot is slightly different. Ooh, look at that mesh down there with that dried up river. That's amazing. So anyway, after takeoff checklist, flaps are in. No gear, but we stop the wheels with the brakes. Autopilot is already engaged and set up. We just have to navigate around the mountain. There's some nice haze in the background. That is absolutely amazing. Screenshot. Enjoying insane frame rates while they last, because if the clouds kick in, they're not going to last. It's a midday flight. Took off right on time. We're in Alaska, so even though it's noon, the sun is way down there. And we're just going to enjoy ourselves. So let's navigate around this mountain. And then we'll be on our way. Now, the funny thing about the rapidly rising terrain is the train is already kind of high, right? What are we at? We're at almost 4,000 feet, and we're lower than the train. So it's going to go from 4,000 to about 9,000-ish, apparently very quickly, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, is a 5,000 foot increase in altitude in a short amount of time. So, have we cleared the mountains enough that we can follow our GPS? That is the question. I don't quite think so, although we are climbing pretty quickly. Let's see, should we engage GPS yet? I think we better wait because it's going to turn us back. And I don't think we want to turn back quite yet. So I think what we'll do is we'll use this heading bug thingamajig, if I can find my mouse, and we will slowly turn and maybe run parallel to our GPS track, perhaps. I'm just moving that along as we go. There we go. We'll just do something like that. Kind of go around the mountain. There we go. There we go. We'll do that. And then once we get some altitude, we'll turn far to the right and get back on a GPS path. So it says an hour and 14 minutes. That's obviously not going to be true because once you reach altitude, we're going to get up to like 140 cruising speed. So that will be it. I think nothing really to say except at 10,000 feet we will turn off landing lights. We're at 6,000 now, so I may or may not do that on camera. We'll see what it's like. Anyway, so just cruising in this aircraft. You don't have to worry about engine management in the sim. So I just go full steam ahead just because of real life time constraints. I can't really spend 2 hours flying anywhere in this thing, so we're just going to go full speed ahead. There's nothing else to do except 10,000, turn off those lights, and then when we get to our top of descent, we'll start descending, get our destination barometer. Hopefully the weather stays nice. I'll check the weather in the sim because it's always a little different than Sky Vector. But that does remind me, before we sightsee, I'm just looking along here. Before we sightsee, let's get our vertical descent, our VNAV going. So, I really don't know what we want because I forgot what the airport altitude is. So that's kind of a bummer. So that's right, I gotta click this one. So let's just see, what was that one? Our destination arrival, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking one thing, saying another. Let's just go 4,500. Let's go 5,000. I'll look it up as we get closer. At the destination, 800 feet per minute. Nope, come here. Darn it. 800 feet per minute. There we go. So what I'll do as we get closer is I'll look up our airport altitude and readjust our target significantly. And then make sure we come down. So again, the approach is just to, whoops, that one. The approach is to simply find the airport and land. Might have to circle. I don't know. There isn't a published approach, instrument approach, or anything. So it's just completely visual as far as I know. We'll do the best we can, but in the meantime, let's make our way towards our GPS line now, and once we intersect, I will engage nav on the autopilot, and I think we are good to go. Yeah, the mountain's behind us. Right? Yep, it's back there somewhere. Alright, well, simple as that. Can't think of anything else we need to say. So let's have some sightseeing and I'll catch you at top of descent. Alright, so we're about to reach top of descent, and we got some clouds at the surface of the mountains. So if we can't see the runway through the clouds, we will have to turn clouds off. But before we do that, it's been 44 minutes flight time already. Holy cow. I was talking to my wife and folding laundry during that time, so that went really fast. Okay, anyway. Descent to target, it says, as we get close to 800 on the VSR. So I did look up the airport altitude is 2,100 feet, so that's what my target is going to be since we're going to be landing visually. So that's what we're going to do. So let's bring this down to like 3 grand. Now I have to think a second, but if I do alt alert, can't remember if that's going to work for descending as well. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. So we're going to do IS, hold. There we go. Now I can do alt alert. Then I bring back throttles to descend. There we go. And it's going to keep our speed at 120 or 115 or whatever that is. And then we want to use throttles to descend at 800 feet per minute because that's what our profile is, and then make adjustments based on the VSR. We want to keep that as close to 800 as we can. Now here's the thing though. I don't know if this runway's in a valley, so we might end up running into terrain even though we're like 1,000 feet above the airport. Because I don't know the area. I don't know anything about this. I didn't do any practice flights or anything. I just know that my throttle is perfectly held to 800 feet per minute descent. We're holding our speed. We're at 11,300 feet, and we're heading towards an airport. That's all I know. And what does it say it is? 12 minutes away only. Oh my gosh. So we got to think of something. Let's turn on landing lights now because we are close to 10,000 feet. What else do we need to do for descent? Decision height, don't worry about that. Barometer, landing lights, already turned that on. Approach at 100 knots, touchdown at 75. Let's do our destination barometer if we can. And I'm really nervous about this terrain because it's close to us. So let's see, this airport here. I believe it is, and it is. Let's see. 300, wind 180 at 6. That's a weird line break. First of all, altimeter 29 or 78. Let's do that first. Let's zoom in here. Zoom in even more. 29 or 7, 8 like that. Wind 180 at 6. So if it's 180, we're going to have a perfect crosswind regardless. So let's do runway 20. So we're going to swing out to the right and then land on runway 20, unless you have to circle around. Looks like we have a nice low area here to circle around if we have to. The question is, how are we going to get there? Okay, so it looks like once we get over these mountains that we see, it's going to drop down. See these clouds right here, or these clouds right here. So it looks like once we get past those clouds, we have a valley to go down. So we'll go down in this valley, go through the valley, and then we just hang a left and land. So it's going to be one of those. Something more suitable for a beaver. But of course the Twin Otter will handle it just fine. I do have a feeling we're going to have to turn off clouds though, because we're not really going to be able to see anything, and I don't know the area. One thing I wanted to mention, I did test this a little bit off camera, is my frame rates are still really high even though we have clouds. So let me show you this here. That was a quick sudden quietness. We're still at 30 frames. It's not as good as 46, but we're above 20. That's all that matters in terms of the simulation aspect. So I don't know why my frames are so high right now when I did a test off camera before I recorded, and they're at 11 regardless of the cloud cover. So I'm not going to complain. I will take it. And I really don't miss my settings that I turned down. In fact, I don't even remember what I turned down, but I cranked a lot of stuff down. And I don't really miss it. So we'll just leave it like this, and maybe my computer will last indefinitely, I guess. So anyway, let's be mindful of this terrain, though. I'm really afraid we're going to run into these mountains. So I think our approach... Sorry about the sudden drop in sound. I think our approach is going to have to not do this. Because we can't descend a nice profile with this terrain. So let's level off. So what I'm doing to level off, I'm not touching autopilot. I'm just using the throttles to level off. Because I don't want to hit the mountains. I don't want to really necessarily readjust autopilot right now. So we're just going to stay like this. And we're going to use this map. We're going to have to use the map to navigate between these mountains. So yeah, our VNav is going to get all screwed up. That's going to go way above 800. But it doesn't matter at this point. All that matters is there's our destination. Let's zoom in a little bit. 9 minutes out. No idea where we're going. Very close to terrain. But we're leveled off now. So let's use this map. It's not really cheating because in real life for VFR flying, we would have an iPad on our laps with a live map. Just like this. So we're using it for the mountains. The GPS is getting us towards the airport. The mountains will navigate with the map and looking out the window. And we're almost at this valley here. And then I think we'll just go down. And the airport's at 2100, so we'll go about 3,000 or so through this valley if we can. And then we'll turn left and look for the airport. And I'm pretty confident we're going to have to turn off these clouds because this is not going to work. Oh my gosh, we were so close to that terrain. You want to stay at least 1,000 feet above, and that's for like the wind, you know, blowing you around when you're that close to the terrain. But we're much closer than 1,000 feet, I would imagine. Looks good though. You can see the snow in the mesh. I'm like pointing at my monitor with my finger. Let me use my mouse. You can see the snow in the mesh. That's fantastic. Alright, let's enjoy this a little bit more, and then when we descend into the valley, we'll turn the clouds off. So, a few more moments of sightseeing. I'll be checking out the map, and I'll catch you in a moment. Something I noticed here is you can actually see the crosswind. You can see the crosswind in the map. Isn't that interesting? Because we're pointing left a little, but we're not going that way. I think that's really interesting. Just wanted to point that out. So this 30K and 38K, that must be at our altitude because I'm pretty sure it wasn't 38 knots at the airport. No, it's 6. Right? That's a weird break. That must be, yeah, 180 at 6. Yeah, that's really strange. Anyway. Yeah, so this wind here is our at altitude, but anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Anything else to point out? Not really. I don't see this valley. I might have to navigate us down manually and just break off from GPS because the valley is right there. This is our valley right here. And we're not going to have much time to descend because we're at 9,000 feet. Yeah, well, 8,750. So we're not going to have time to descend. So what we need to do first is turn these clouds off because we cannot go down that valley with these clouds. So let's turn off the clouds, as sad as it is. So what I did is I kept the clouds, I just put them above us. So I dragged them up to 10,000 feet. So now we have clouds above us. Still kind of hazy, so that part's still realistic. So now let's use our heading bug, wherever that thing is. This way. And let's make a little S-curve. Hit heading on, well, heading, there we go. And now we can start descending. Man, that's a steep turn just for a little bit. Start descending here. soon as we get over this mountain that we're going over, we'll turn to the right. We're going to start coming down. So here we go. Let's start our right turn back. We just had to scoot over a little bit to get down this valley, bringing throttles back quite a bit so we can descend. Because if we look at our VNAV, it's probably sky high. Yeah, 1500 it says. But it gives us an idea of what we need to do. So let's do about 1500. And let's try to ride out this valley. It's not as easy as it sounds at all. So let's look at our map. Yeah, we're going to want to straighten out in just a moment here. Let's keep this zoomed in like this. Just keep an eye on that. So even though it looks like we're over the valley, looking out the nose, we're not over the valley at all. We have a ways to go. We're just going to ride this thing in. 1,500 feet, that's 1,600. Let's put a little bit more throttle. I'm not worried about our speed because we can bleed off speed on a dime in this thing. So there we go. Let's use our heading bug now to get back down the valley. Alright, probably a little bit more even. There we go. We'll just ride out this valley, hop down here, zoom this thing in so we have an idea in case we get screwed up. Let's do a 10 mile on that thing. Anyway, that's how we're going to do this. Looking good. Looks like we need to move heading bug a little bit more. There we go. And we're going to come down even a little bit faster. I'd rather come down too early and level off than have to nosedive at the last minute, and our passengers are going to get sick from this ragged turning here. A little bit more even. Jeez, why won't it turn a little bit? There we go. Yeah, it's looking better. And there we are, right over our valley. So there should be an airport right around this corner, which is here, airport. Alright, let's have a few looks outside while we can. We'll keep that descent at 1,500. There we go. So like I said, I raised the clouds above us to keep them. And we still have a lot of haze. We're coming down steeply, but we have to, because we couldn't come down until we got to our valley. So we're being as realistic as possible. Still see the snow on the mesh, so we're below the train. I love when we go next to a train and we're below it like that. One of my favorite things. Right around that corner should be an airport somewhere. Don't quite see it yet. I don't think we can see it yet. I want to catch that mountain. There we go. That's awesome. Alright, according to our map, we have to make a big turn to the left right about now. So let's do that. And let's bring a little bit more throttle because we're at 4,400 feet. Oh my gosh, this thing, I want it to be like a smoother turn. 4,400 feet. Minimum descent. So what we can do is hit minimum descent. There we go. And that, when we drop to 3,000, will level us off no matter what. In fact, even if autopilot... Oh, there's an airport right there. Even if autopilot isn't engaged, I'm going to just... Even if it isn't engaged, this MDA, minimum descent altitude, will... let's turn that off. Will engage autopilot at that altitude. So you got to be watching for that. All right, here we go. Let's slow down a little bit. I see our airport. I really want to do some sightseeing, but we're going to have to do some sightseeing from the ground. Landing lights are already on. Flaps in a moment. Gears already down. Everything is all set. We have plenty of fuel. So we are just going to descend here. And we're a little bit high, but we didn't have much choice. So first set of flaps. Approach at 100 knots, which is right now. Land at whatever I said it was, 75 or something. Let's see what it is say for that. It said land at 75, flaps 30. Let's do second set of flaps. Engage a lot of throttle. More throttle even. More throttle. Keep an eye on the PAKP, 30 flap. I feel like we're going to crash into the ground, but the PAKP says we're way too high, and we're getting blown way to the right, as I would expect. So the wind is coming from the left at 6 knots. So if I really wanted to do a crosswind landing, I would do left main first, or well, we go right. Okay, so left wing down, right rudder, left main touchdown first, and then plant the landing. You don't want to grease it. And we're on gravel anyway, so we definitely don't want to grease it. So here we go. We're coming in high, but we don't have much choice. I'm just going to run long. We have lots of runway. We have reversers. We have good brakes. Here's our touchdown speed. So here we go. I'm going to get us ready. So we got left wing, right rudder, and there we go. We're down. Oh my gosh, I did it. I did a crosswind landing. Nose wheel down gently, holding back on the yoke because it's gravel. I don't want to slam that nose wheel. All the way back on the yoke to keep the weight off that nose wheel. We didn't use reversers because we didn't need to. And we're going to roll it out. There we go. My yoke is finally back in. See, those are the things you can't see, like holding the yoke all the way back to keep the weight off the nose wheel on gravel. You don't want to, you don't want to put any weight on that for as long as you can. I didn't even need reversers, which is fine. I like using reversers, but we don't need them. So anyway, very smooth. I got my right main down like I was supposed to. And, I'm sorry, left. It's hard to do these things at once. Come on, let's get rolling. It's hard to roll. There's a lot of friction on gravel. Let's get those flaps in. Let's get rolling. Let's get to the end of this runway. So anyway, left wing down, right rudder. Left main touch first. And then we smoothly touch down, but not too smoothly. So just enough firmness. So I'm very excited about that landing. I've only done 2 good crosswind landings. This one and then the Eclipse. My very first time was actually one of my better crosswind landings. I haven't been able to do very well since. Anyway, let's go out to taxi view because I'm getting kind of nauseous. Although this isn't really helping. Alright, we're just going to pull off here. Very nice. Alright. Come on now. I like watching that flag move. Every once in a while it kicks out. That's awesome. The windsock anyway. Alright, let's just park over here. Like so. And brakes. And where's my parking brake preset? Parking brake. Then we'll come up here and turn off landing lights. We didn't really have a taxi, so our taxi lights were never on, but we can turn on our lights so passengers can start collecting their belongings. And then props to feather. There we go. Love that sound. What else? Oh, our radios come off before. Oh, it doesn't turn off on that one. Doesn't turn off. Okay, let's go like this. There we go. There we go. Won't turn off. Okay. Anyway, sometimes you want to make sure avionics are off before you turn off your engines. So fuel can cut off. There we go. Let's turn off the fuel boost. These guys here. And let's see what else. Get some other lights off. We don't need that on anymore. We don't need that on. Fasten seatbelts can come off now. And that's it for there. Let's go over here. Actually, let's open up this door and then the back. Oh, come on. Back door. There we go. Open up the back door. And then we will get our book out so that we can turn on external power, which means we can then turn on external power. One more. And people will still have lights. There we go. And let's actually go outside to do the baggage door so we can see them open. People put a lot of work into these little details. It's nice to appreciate them and use those little details. And I guess there's not a front baggage door on the short nose. Okay. But the back baggage door, there it is. There's closing, there's opening. There we have it. Maybe it's on this side. Nope, no baggage door on the front of the short nose, which would make sense. All right, what do we have? GPU already, external power already. Generators can come off now. Nice to see that those lights actually worked. This stuff can come off, of course. This can probably come off as well. And bleed air can come off. And DC master can come off. Like so. But we're still lit up, so people can still get their stuff. These lights are still on. See that? That's awesome. People can get out, as well as ourselves. No static elements to place, I don't believe. But anyway, welcome from Alaska to Alaska, the second leg of our 50-state series. We have our frame rates back, and quite excessive, to be honest. But when those clouds kicked in, it cut them down. So I'm excited to try heavy cloud cover now that I've got my computer cooling better. But Anyway, looks good. Still looks fine even when I turn down all those settings. It flies great. It is such a rewarding experience to fly with frame rates above 20. If you're one of those simmers that would prefer eye candy and have everything cranked up and your frames are below 20, I insist, at least once, crank your settings down, get those frame rates above 20. That's a completely different experience. And even if you love eye candy like me, like I'm a very visual person, the experience of flying above 20 frames severely outweighs the eye candy. Of course, I'm making video content, so I have to keep that stuff in mind. I have to be very careful where I make my concessions. But this flight anyway, the next couple flights, they look the same. So I'm very excited to have the series underway. The next video, though, will not be a 50-state series. We are going to be flying over by the Indian Ocean and the eclipse, I believe. I think that's what I have planned, as long as I can get my flight plan together fast enough. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you found me by accident, please subscribe. If you are a big subscriber, thank you for your continuing support. And I'll catch you on the next one.